Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM21, Worst to First, episode 14, 14th of November, and our latest training facilities upgrade is now complete. We're going to go ahead and do a check-in. First, the old-fashioned way, and just see what it says in terms of text, but then we're going to verify what the actual evaluation of that is. So we now have very good field condition, adequate corporate facilities. We know that's a level 9. Average training facilities, that would be better than level 9. So it does look like we've gone at least 10 plus. Remember, we were level 6 after previous. Below average youth facilities, that is the level 6 comparison. So check it in between the two. Let's go ahead and now verify what the actual amount is. Also, team reputation at 680. Club attendance still very, very low, but it'll get there. Training facilities 10. So we gained +4 this time. So not a huge jump, but in terms of the money, to go from 1 to 6 is +5. And then to go from 6 to 10 for the same amount of money means it's getting more expensive the bigger and better it gets. Okay, I get it. But we're halfway there. Max is 20. So drastic improvement in just 2 years. Youth facilities obviously still need to come along. Junior coaching, youth recruitment are all things that are relatively irrelevant. But I don't know, to have a complete team, Manchester City, have they had anyone? Have they had a single player come out of their youth system in this era that wasn't already in the system before this era? And I don't mean have they had an 18-year-old that they bought for an absurd amount of money that they stashed in their U18s for like 3 months and then stashed in their U23s for a season before bringing them up. No, that is not somebody from your youth intake, right? Have you taken a player who was with you when they were like 9, 10 years old and grown through the system? I'm assuming here, but as far as I can tell, the answer is a big fat hell no. All right, now, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but for appearances, it still does. Those corporate facilities certainly could be a target for us, but continuing to raise up the training facilities because it's still only level 10. Level 20, big difference. Should we now see another boost to the progress of our players? It might happen. In which case, I know we're only on episode 14 right now, our pacing is going to change pretty rapidly because we have some players that are really good already compared to the division. We're blowing it away here in the 9th tier. Something tells me at this rate, we are going to have near undefeated seasons for the next few years. Maybe longer. Maybe by the time we hit about League 2, we'll start to see a challenge. In which case, we might just have a 1 episode per season or 2 seasons per episode kind of rate for the next couple of seasons. Possibly. For this season, well, let's start up in that pace. I'm going to push forward, let's say 6 weeks. Now into January, we begin with a look at the team. You can see development-wise, things are going very well. But that bottom group, the group that's on the bench that's not getting the playing time, developing much more slowly. And then the problem with that is even though I do not keep lineups the same in terms of selection, the assistant coach keeps picking the better players because, well, they're better players. We've had a couple draws. It hasn't been all wins, so, we're not flawless yet. I might have to forcibly put 1 or 2 of them into the starting lineup on occasion to get them to catch up on development a bit. Otherwise, we're going to continue to have problems, continue to struggle Hulk's current rating is 1 gold star, so at least we have that, I suppose. Storm 1.5, and there's a whole set of players that are a ways behind. Jean Grey is clearly out-developing everybody else by far. Coming off a little injury though. I didn't see when, how, what, but 19 goals, 14 assists for Jean Grey in 21 appearances. Wolverine, 22 goals in 18 appearances, also 7 assists. Groot, not quite as good on the other side, 15 goals, just 3 assists, not quite figuring things out at the pace that Jean Grey has. All in all, though, our average ratings are insane for the first 11 anyway. Spider-Man's done pretty well off the bench, 3 starts, 4 bench appearances, 4 goals, 7.58 rating. Most of the others, not so good off the bench, and that's kind of the problem that is developing, because there's a growing gulf between the first 11 and the others. In terms of fitness, they're good. In terms of injury proneness, they're good, and so I don't expect them to be out long. But I suppose that's kind of the opportunities that are going to come along for those that are outside of the first 11 to kind of catch up on their peers, is when somebody gets hurt, take the opportunity, go with it, even if it's only a couple games. They've got to do something with the time they're given. In terms of the league, like I said, it hasn't been perfect. We've had 2 draws, no further losses. So through 21 matches played, that's 17 wins. We are on quite the streak right now with only 1 loss in quite a while. Goal differential is plus 56. We have 54 points. We have more in terms of goal differential than we have points scored. We have well more than 2 goals per game plus. In fact, it looks like it's 2.5 goals per game to the good compared to our opponents. Still only puts us 12 points up in the league though, so it's not an automatic. We didn't just suddenly become untouchable. We're not untouchable yet, but we're getting pretty close. And I would like I was saying, I'm suspecting that the next few seasons anyway, we are going to get, because we're even outpacing in terms of development the league comparison, as we're going to move up the tiers. I could tell you right now, this team with 0 additional development would win the 8th tier. Probably the 7th tier. Maybe the 6th tier. But they are going to continue to develop, and that's kind of the thing. And that's also the point of this experiment, to see how it goes. So, again, with the pacings going to pick up, I'm going to push forward 2 whole months. Let's see what happens. So as we enter March, we look at our transfer history and see number of players out for loan, all youth players, number of free transfers, all youth players, and no skin off our back, as they will not impact this squad. They will not cut it in this squad. Unfortunately, though, Manchester City tried really hard to buy Jean Grey. But as an American, their affiliate, New York City FC, then came in with an even bigger offer, but essentially the same offer, to use the American ties to try to help push through the deal. It worked. It somehow worked. 1.8 million, half of that up front, but 1.8 million in the end was accepted, forced through by the board. Nothing I can do about it. Now, this is an experiment. She will not stay away. However, with her having been gone for a month now, I am not bringing her back today. I'm going to bring her back in the off season. 2 reasons. 1, a small amount of realism in that it happens. Players go, moves, whatever. But partially because it's going to allow us to get somebody else bedded into the squad, get them a little bit of time. Ant-Man is now going to be the starter on that wing. My hope is that Ant-Man is going to start developing much, much more quickly than previously. So That's the expectation. We'll see how that goes, but we're going to give them the rest of the season to play in the role, and then we'll bring Jean Grey back, which is our best player. So then we'll, go from there and hope that her development isn't stunted or isn't boosted. It could be boosted. I mean, our training facilities are only a 10. Nycfc is owned by Manchester City, and their goal is to exploit the world market. It's complicated, but they have more than one affiliate club in the world. It's not just NYCFC, but the affiliate clubs that they have are places for them to stash and store and partially get around financial fair play. And more importantly for them, actually build their market. Not about making money. Abu Dhabi does not care whether they're making money or not. What they care about, and I've actually read a book on the title, on the subject. What they care about is building their profile, their marketability. Not to get fans in seats, not to make Manchester City the most popular club in the world. It's about making Manchester City the best club in the world and exploit it in every way, shape, or form to make them the best club in the world, which is about building their profile and making them, not the club, but the royal family, likable around the rest of the world. If you haven't figured this out by now, to much of the world, the Middle East has a pretty poor reputation. In the United States in particular, that is very true, that there's a poor reputation. It has been their goal, their target, to build a strong reputation of their country. And they got into it through making an airline, which loses billions of dollars, to throwing money at the world's top sport in the world's top league to build their profile. And you know what? That money that they've thrown into this sport, nothing compared to the airline. And you know which one has done better? Which one has impacted them in a more positive light? Yeah, the football club. And those affiliates in other parts of the world that are all helping boost their internal image. That's what it's about. All right, well, let's get back to it. Comparing the new youth intake, those in green, with those of old, based on potential ability, 44 is still very, very low. There's no quality in that. But it is actually quite a step up from where we were. Team reputation, I'm sure, is a small factor in that. Coaching staff is definitely a factor in that. Youth facilities came up, but that doesn't impact what level of recruit you be. But we did have a change in youth category. Junior coaching and all of that is still at level 1. So bare minimums. And I do think it is time that we do address some of those things. Not that it's going to make an impact. This player is worse than, not just now, but would be worse than the whole team we have outside of maybe Hulk, who is lagging behind, not getting any play time as a goalkeeper, and goalkeeping's been the one area that's been difficult for us. Obviously, we need some youth players, so we will take in some of these guys. They're not coming in. But we'll take this top group. We'll accept that one, and at least have some new players in the youth system that are there. Relatively useless, but again, it's something. So I'll take those on. We'll take care of that. But meantime, the league, 34 games played out of a 38-game season. So we're nearly at the end, 4 to play, 22 points ahead. Do the math. We already won the league a couple weeks ago. Plus 101 goal differential. We have now gone full circle with that, and we're nearly 3 goals per game to the good, where it was 2.5 once we hit dominating. We're pushing that even higher. So better throughout the season. We're just rolling on. Now, of course, we still have that one hole in terms of no Jean Grey. We have not forced her back in, and it turns out that Spider-Man has taken on an injury, so that's not helpful. He's going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks. Still struggling with these two at the bottom, but let's check in on how Black Panther is doing, just so we can kind of see where we're at in terms of the physical attributes that have been kind of excelling beyond other things. 13's almost across the board is looking pretty good. Of course, that natural fitness, everybody rolled between a 15 and 20 on that, so an 18 is just run-of-the-mill compared to the rest of the team, but also not part of your attributes, or your rating anyway. So hitting 13s is starting to get pretty dang good. In the mental attributes, there were the handful, the aggression, the bravery, the determination, the flair. Nothing else. The rest really coming along. Leadership, the only one that's lagging behind, and that's at a 6, and that's a big problem for a lot of these players, where that's really behind the 8 ball. But the other stuff, anticipation, 15, vision 13, decision 13. Anticipation came up from nothing. It was a 1 when we started. It was technically a 6 when we started, because that current ability 1 jumping on day 1 to a 6 as a base, but in everything but leadership. But from 6 to 15 in 2 years. Wow. Potential ability says a lot, because even with low and high determination, potential ability and determination seems to be all you need. Well, more than just determination, right? On that mental part, but high determination and high potential ability will carry seemingly any player through, because, again, only 2 seasons, and they're getting pretty dang good. Now, technical abilities lagging behind. Marking has hit a 12, but that's their main training area for the defensive midfielder, where they're getting that bonus. Concentration, actually kind of lagging behind. But most of the areas that they have trained are doing well. The areas they haven't trained as much, like finishing, still just a 9. At this point, finishing and heading are the only 9s left, outside of leadership being the only other thing below a 10 right now. So solid progress, really starting to show itself, especially now that, you know, the training facilities are even higher. We're seeing that growth really climbing of late. You can see just how big of a jump they've made this year. With just 4 matches left to go in the season, I'm going to go ahead and make that final push till the last day. We're going to pick up with that game, and then we'll see the end of the season. All right, so we have our final match of the season. We're going to play this one pretty quickly, as there's, well, nothing to really play for, and we're going to presumably dominate this thing. I have 3 players on international duty. Doctor Strange, like Jean Grey, has been taken away from us to MLS. Seattle Sounders have come in with a eventually $2 million deal to get Doctor Strange signed as Groot. Nice move there. You see how Groot faked left and then just went right. Nebula is getting a lot of assists, by the way. Groot, that was pretty easy. Definitely faked, showed left, and then just went back to the right. Nothing the keeper could do, and it's already 1-0. Quick and easy, just like that. Here's Gamora, here's Ant-Man. Ant-Man easily beats his defender. You can see we've got this clear advantage. So here's what's to come, instead of giving the play-by-play highlights in what is going to be a lot of goals. We'll see. Recently we had a 9-1 victory about 1 or 2 games back. That's how good this team is getting, as here's another easy chance, and there's the second goal. Wolverine 48th of the season, approaching 50 goals for the year. That was Groot with the assist that time. Now, what I have coming. The players, all of them were set to work on quickness as a focal point. They're all starting to get up there in speed now. Not all, actually. So some of the players, the ones that are hitting the 13s now, are decently quick. Not a great speed, definitely not a Premier League kind of speed, but they're getting decently quick. I might start looking, I don't know. I don't think maybe until it's getting to about 15 or 16 should I really let up. So maybe I'll hang on to that one a little bit longer as a focal point. But then other things. One, my number of coaches permitted, now that we've already guaranteed promotion, has gone up to 10. Was at 7. I think I only had 6 regular coaches on staff. So I have 4 vacancies to fill. So we're going to look to start adding coaching staff as Wolverine goes for the brace here before half. 1 away from 50 on the season. That's a big goal. It's a nice landmark. Love to see that before the end of the game. That would also be a hat trick today. He also had like 4 goals in that 9-0 hammering that we had a while back. 3 players are on international duty, so I've got Hulk in for Storm. I've got Black Widow in for Black Panther, and then that's it. Those are the only 2 players on the bench, with 2 gone to being sold, 2 filling starting 11 spots with those 2, and then otherwise our 3 on international duty are all bench players, surprisingly. All right, so that's one goal, is changing that up. I might look into mentoring for the few players that are lagging behind a little bit. If I can throw a couple 20 determination players at a couple 16, 17 determination kind of players, they might actually start catching up. One thing I noticed is we are now starting to see a lot of players now that we have the 10 facilities, now that we have more coaching, now that we're all full-time. Throw that in there. There it is, 50th goal of the season for Wolverine. Up in the upper corner. That was a difficult shot. Wow, 4-0. And 50 on the year for Wolverine. Yeah, that was tough. Okay, it wasn't all the way up in the corner, but side netting. That was pretty skillful for somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of skill at this point. So that's one target. One thing that I haven't done these first 2 seasons is I haven't intentionally picked players for various roles, free kicks, quarter kicks, things of that nature. I've left it open, completely wide open, where it happens on the spot. So I think it's time we start making those type of selections. Players are starting to specialize a little bit in terms of their development based on their positional development. I did not look offside. Okay, it is offside. Ant-Man was definitely offside on that one. Okay, well anyway. 19-1 on the shots. Yes. We are reaching that point where the team is becoming very dominant, but still not what it could be. I mean, if you had a bunch of 200 current ability players against, say, the 8th tier, holy cow, would that get ugly game after game. And a 3-goal average in terms of victory would be nothing compared to what that would end up being. So we've got a ways to go yet, but they are starting to get good. They're starting to get scary, and yes, at this rate, we're going to fly through some seasons. That was kind of close. That was really, really kind of close. So, yeah. Not quite there yet, but man, oh man, we're getting good compared to the level we're in. So there are some things to do. Hash out, a few of those little minor things that we haven't bothered with yet. Improve the coaching. Maybe start to look at training something a little differently. Maybe training some second positions for a lot of them in case of future seasons of Jean Grey's. You could see, look, our lower ratings, Black Widow, Ant-Man, Deadpool played well, though. Hulk played well, but 2 of the 4 ended up with the lowest ratings by far. In the end, we win the league by 32 points. AFC Mansfield was second. Bedfont Sports, third in the league. Huge gap. And the goal differentials, you see a lot of big negatives. Some of that's from us, but they only play us twice. So how much damage can we inflict? Well, if you win 9-0, 4-0, it's a 13 goal difference to a team. Now, standard was more like 3 goals per game. So 6. So everybody's kind of taking a -6 hit. You can see that beyond a plus 15 with Plymouth Parkway, only 2 teams were able to go better than that. So our plus 118, whew, that's big. Our plus 118 was, only matched. Let's see, 3 goals per game. That's plus 5. That's plus 15. It's actually plus 14. So we were 4 over that. So yes, we did eclipse 3 per game by a small margin. I actually kind of think next season is going to be a lot more brutal than that. We did win out the rest of the season, so 3 draws, 1 loss on the year. Next season, I don't know about a perfect season, but only 4 non-wins the whole season. I think for one thing, we probably could avoid defeat for the entirety of the season, and I think we could end up seeing maybe 2 draws. That's my expectation for next year. I don't know how many teams will be in the league, but I would expect 2 draws, no losses for next season. Bad days, they happen. Red cards. Things don't come together. The other team has the game of their life. I don't quite think we'll be at that point, but tomorrow, Doctor Strange, Jean Grey, they'll be back on the roster. I'll forcibly bring them back because they are part of this experiment, and it's not the same team without those players. It's a collective experiment. So yes, we got $3.5 million in, but come on, we got a sugar daddy owner who's going to do that anyway. So sorry to those 2 teams on losing the money, but it happens. We'll bring them back. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.